it's me, Mr. Greg Behrens!
We didn't plan that at all. That was so awesome.
I got into comedy it's always been my thing. It's always been like a dream. When I was a kid, I watched, SNL, like shows like that. Like I used to go to school on the bus and recite. Like I remember reciting like Dan Aykroyd's Bass-O-Matic 76. Like that was like just the best thing.
You guys see the new Batman movie? Anybody see that? Yeah, all right. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. It's not for lack of trying, though. I tried to pick up a bootleg copy of the new Batman so I could watch it at home, The guy gave me the wrong disc. He gave me a pornographic version of Batman. It's called Black Man. The Dark Meat Rises.
And then several years ago, my wife got me. I'd done some little work like writing CD reviews for a magazine and like some different like writing gigs and stuff like that. And my wife got me a class, sketch comedy writing class at Sketchworks in Decatur, which I'm now a writer there and a cast member there.
The villain in this particular version of the film, Bone was his name.
I like to think of myself as a writer's comedian. I'm not a off-the-cuff kind of guy. Some people are really great with, work in the crowd.
See, I was confused when Bone said that he was going to bring Gotham City to its knees.
If I poll the audience, if I ask somebody like, what do you feel about this? And if they're going to say yes or they're going to say no, I try to have that in mind before I get out there, like what I'm gonna say. So I have roads to go.
Here's my this is my review of Battleship. Miss.
A lot of comedians get in their own head, and they focus too much on what is gonna happen, or even when they get off stage, what did happen, and then you gotta have fun. Like the whole point of this whole thing is to have fun.
So there's a lot of stuff going on in the news. That's something. Actually, I don't even know if it's true. Just a lot of comedians say it. I really don't know if it's...
I would tell myself to not think that you're gonna just blow up right out of the gate. Like you have to, you might be funny at a party and you might be like the entertainment of all your friends and family and all that stuff, but I mean, there's a real art to this, and you really have to put the time in, and you have to constantly be developing all the time.
I can't keep up with it. It's a bunch of nonsense, my biggest concern is where gay people are going to get chicken now, I can't keep up on politics, nonsense. I don't know what Reagan's doing, what's that guy doing?
The routines that you do will get better. If you know something is funny and you have that thing that makes you laugh at home, it probably is funny, but just because they don't laugh at it the first time that you take it to the stage, which they probably won't, you gotta realize that it is funny. You just have to figure out the way to tell other people that it's funny.
I had a bad experience one time when I voted. It was in one of those Pepsi taste tests. Nobody could decide on a winner, and this huge cola war broke out, and advertising was really aggressive, and I just ended up with diabetes.
I feel successful as a comedian. I've done more than I ever thought that I ever would. Like I said, it always seemed like an unobtainable goal. That's for, people that aren't me. I don't even know how you would approach that or even get involved in it. But the fact that I've got up on stages and had good shows in front of crowds that have been great, to me, that's the best feeling that there is.
So, other things. That's my segue. Other things.
the average people that come into these shows that see you up there are envious of you because you have the balls to get up there and do that and they might be funny too, but they could never do that.
Speaking of things that are really racist, is the worst segue ever. That's why I use it.
Every comedian has that insecurity inside of them that they want to be appreciated and they want to be noticed. Look at me, like I'm up here, like you take yourself up on stage to tell people all your innermost fears and concerns, and like it's because you want them to hear what you have to say.
Listen to a lot of rap music. Anybody like that stuff? You guys like rap? Yeah, okay, that's a few people. Yeah. I can't relate to it. I have a hard time, and it's not really a racial thing. It's just I don't understand what the hell they're talking about. You know, if you've got 99 problems but a bitch ain't one, you probably have some pretty unusual problems. Realistically, I have like 12 problems, and a bitch is like a handful of those, at least.
The day that I feel like I'm not progressing forward is the day that I will quit comedy, and it hasn't happened yet. There's always, some people put these really high aspirations in front of themselves, you know, and I mean, I take the baby steps.
I don't think hoarding is a disease. AIDS is a disease. Like, that's it's clearly defined. You get it from unprotected sex and sharing dirty needles. I've never heard anyone go, oh, dude, I wish I wouldn't have split that heroin with Steve. I think I might have caught the hoarding.
It's a talent and it's an art, and you have to embrace it. Like, why are you so afraid?
You have to listen to all their asinine reasons why they hang on to huge piles of garbage. I know, Judy, that your next door neighbor from 10 years ago's daughter's niece might be having a baby someday, but that's no reason to hang on to that mountain of soiled crib mattresses.
I don't want to shock people. I don't want to, do that. I mean, I talk about religion and drugs and things like that, but I'm not doing it for that. I'm just doing it because I think it's funny, and I hope you think it's funny too.
A friend of mine, he told me that he was jealous of my comedy. He said like he wished he had something that gave him purpose like that, a real reason to get out of bed in the morning. And I felt bad for him, I want to tell him something to make him, feel better, like reassure him that his life was worth living. But I didn't want to embarrass him in front of his kids.
The hardest part of it is walking out that curtain right there. That's the hardest part of the whole thing. Once you're out there, man, it's over. Like you either, put up or shut up.
When you have a job interview, they tell you you're supposed to dress for the job that you want. That seems like pretty good advice, But I don't think the interview lady at Burger King was really impressed with my Ron Jeremy costume.
If you're going to be a successful comedian, listening is, I'm kind of this is the most I probably talked all night.
A lot of people say honesty is the best policy, but I disagree. I think finders keepers is the best policy. So you just take whatever you want. Your friend would be like, hey dude, this is a really cool boat. Like, oh, thanks, man. I was just wandering around the harbor, just found it. I kept it, you believe that? The only thing honesty ever got me was not having a boat.
I write down things and at the end of the week, I'll go back and read them off to myself and laugh because they're like half thoughts or, just things that don't make any sense. Yeah, but I know what it means.
The only problem with finders keepers, nobody ever applies it when they find Jesus. I wish they would keep it to themselves.
I always joke all the time, like I think it would be funny to write a bit about like losing my notebook somewhere and having someone find it, because they're not going to understand what the Pope and Roger Ebert means.
I don't have a problem with Jesus at all. Seems like a cool dude on paper and stuff, but like not really all that impressive, Like you turn water into wine one time? I turned 2 years of unemployment checks into beer.
My wife's the funniest person I've ever met. And she tells me things, like, people tell her all the time that she should be a comedian, but I don't encourage her because, like, it's half of my material.
In my family, we have a proud time-honored tradition on your birthday. You have to drink a beer for every year you are old. I know it sounds classy. I just turned 34. It was the hardest birthday since I turned 9.
She'll tell me something funny that is just a funny story that I couldn't use it on stage that way, but I'll take like a fragment of it and turn it into something that's my own.
My dad has 3 favorite phrases. Hangovers build character. I said I wanted a Big Mac value meal, you dumb bitch. You'd be surprised how often that came up, even after my mom got fired from McDonald's.
I'm very much the same, like on stage as off, which is kind of unique to a lot of people, I guess. But I mean, to me, it just seems natural. You know, I always thought the best comedians were the ones that I thought were just being themselves.
Walk it off, son. It's my dad's cure-all for everything. Broken arms, rusty nails, concussions. You can just walk all those right off. I don't know if you know.
Everybody has their, rough shows and things like that, but the fact that you already took the time to step out there, that speaks volumes to who you are.
You guys, you probably got bullied a lot, right? No, not at all. I did tons of times, and I'm huge and masculine.
The audience, they're looking at you in awe. Like, you have to deliver, but if you put the time and effort into it, you should be able to do that because you're already that type of person.
When I was a kid, you ready for this?
You have to embrace the fact that you're getting to do something because you have that thing inside you that you're okay with it. That you can say, like, yeah, I don't give a shit what people think. Like, I'm gonna get up there and do it because I know this is funny.
Striking out bullying is the most ridiculous notion. It's like trying to strike out diarrhea. Sometimes it just happens to you. You gotta walk that shit off.
This is your dream come true, man. Like, I know, playing open mics in a dive bar on a, Monday night or what, that's not your dream, but it's part of the pursuit of your dream.
I remember this one time this kid came up to me. He was like, "Hey kid, give me your lunch money." I was like, "Dude, I don't have any lunch money. Look at my clothes. I've got Metallica sweatpants on. There's no way I have lunch money."
You just have to believe in what you're doing. Confidence is, 90% of this stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of comics with bad material that go out there and they're confident and they sell it, because people want to laugh. They want to have a good time. You're just the one that's willing to say, like, step up and, okay, I'll bring it for you. That's all this is.
Like, it's not happening. And my mom cuts my hair in my kitchen, which coincidentally is also my bedroom. And he looked at me and he was like, "Coincidentally? That's a nerd word." And then he just beat the shit out of me anyway. So I went home, I was crying my eyes out. My dad was sitting there. I was like, "Dad, I got beat up by this bully at school." You guess what he said to me? You're close. He said, "Quit crying, you pansy, and go in your bedroom and grab 9 beers. It's your birthday." Thank you guys. My name's Greg Behrens.